Good morning. I accept the fullness of life in this moment. And that's saying quite a bit as I stand here and look out at you, and I'm not even sure what I feel, but it's a lot of something. But you know that I am very happy to be here, and indeed it's a very holy moment for me. So, thank you. I had so many ideas about what was I going to say, or this last month or so since I was asked to speak. And what do I want to say to you? And a quote came. It's a quote that we used a lot back in the early days, which now that I realize was in the last century. But it's by Amrit Desai that says, "I have not come to teach you. I have come to love you, and the love will teach you." And I think that's what, I'm going to say some words today, and I may tell a couple of stories, but that's what I'm hoping is happening this whole time, that love is everywhere, it's in each moment, and we'll just let that love teach us. I do want to mention the power of just noticing our thoughts, finding some little space between who you think you are and all those thoughts that are running around kind of continually in our mind. Thoughts that are so willing to comment on everything, both pro and con, if you notice enough, and especially about you, and judging and evaluating everything. Michael Singer in the Untethered Soul, a class we taught at some point, which century, I don't know. And he's got another book, Living Untethered now, that's beautiful, that we could do a class on, I'm sure. But he talks about that voice inside your head, this mental dialogue that never seems to stop. So that's happy to take both sides. He had quite an opening experience where he was sitting on a sofa, and he suddenly realized that if all of the thoughts running through his head was actually a person sitting next to him, he would move. So, just like that. And so, Singer noticed that voice inside his head was like another person, and it wasn't him. It's not his true self. So as you disengage from thinking all that stuff's going on is you begin to clear, and something wonderful happens. How do you do this? Well, Anne Blanchard's sitting there. She has I have called it MMD because it's the morning mind dump. But you could do it any time and set your timer for 3 minutes and write out what's in there. It's not just writing it down. The whole point is you're writing it out, because when you begin to notice what's there, then it's no longer an unconscious program that's just running you. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Oh my God, why did they say that? What did that mean? So it's a wonderful thing to do. And I have a great idea that I haven't yet talked with Anne or Bobby Miles about doing one of those mini Monday things. And you could teach all those little things you do about that. It'd be great. Anyway, so do a mind dump. Write it out of your mind so that there begins to be some distance. I remember being at a retreat with Thich Nhat Hanh up in New York. Again, that century thing is coming to my mind, I don't know, but a while ago, and when he was alive, and me too. And and he talked about, little anger thought. Hello, little anger thought. Rather than I'm angry. Can you feel the difference? Well, hello, little anger. It's a thought. It's not who we are. So start there. Just try and disengage with this stream of thought inside your head. You're able to be the observer, that witness consciousness, all of the words that we use for this field of love and light that's everywhere when we're in that here and that now. When we become more and more conscious of our thoughts, then we can become mindful of the immense power of our choice. Where to cast our attention. Cast casting our attention. We're the casters of our attention. And who and what makes that choice of where our attention is going? Is it love? Or is it that conditioned, habitual mind pattern that's been running for 20, 30, 40, 50, somewhat, a few longer than that in my case? Let love be what makes the choice of where you cast your attention. I get John Mundy's weekly newsletter, and his newsletter this last Sunday, wait, I'm going to move this because who knows what else I'll knock down, had this to say. This is the crux of the Course. He's talking about Course in Miracles. Lies in understanding that we have a choice, that we are the chooser. We decide whether to be angry and attacking or tolerant and kind. By choosing with God, we let other people be who they are without thinking we need to fix them. Instead, it's up to us to love them, regardless of their exterior. And then this quote from the Course, when you have learned how to decide with God, all decisions become as easy and as right as breathing. There is no effort, and you will be led as gently as if you were being carried down a quiet path in summer. God's voice speaks to me all through the day, he says. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. So notice the thoughts in your head. They're not you. You might do a morning mind dump or an afternoon or an evening. Try meditation. Come to the Helen Hamilton thing. She'll talk a lot about that. It'll be beautiful. Then I want to talk just briefly about relationships because I'm a complete expert in it. My husband's not here to contradict me, so let's just go ahead. No, because I didn't know I was that funny either. It's a kind of quiet house life I live in Houston. I'm glad to get out. Anyway, I learned yesterday about relationships from Anne Blanchard because she was talking about her mother and trying to get her mom to be the kind of mom that she really knew she needed to process all this emotion and do this stuff. And then she realized after some other years of hard, intense work, whatever it was, that you just appreciate what's in front of you and the mom that she had, which was pretty spectacular anyway. But this will help you with every relationship and with your peace of mind. Ram Dass has a couple of words of wisdom that comes out, I don't know, maybe daily. I'm not sure I look at it that often, but it's some. And he's got a nice thing about trees where he's talking about trees and how different they are. And if we see a tree that's all, leaned over and funny, we say, oh, they probably didn't get enough light and they just needed to lean that way, and that'll be fine. And we just let it be. But he says, the minute you get near humans, this is Ram Dass now, you lose all that. And you are constantly saying, you are to this or I'm to this. The judgment mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. So I thought that would be a good takeaway for you. Just try and see people as trees. And then you'll look tomorrow and say, what? Why did I? What's that about? Anyway, one other thing from Ram Dass. He's talking about one of the days in India, and Maharishi said to me, you don't have to change anybody. You just have to love them. In relationships, when the other person doesn't fit into your model of how heaven would be, you don't have to play God. You just have to love individual differences and appreciate them the way they are, because love is the most powerful medicine. The key is that you aren't doing it manipulatively. Okay, I love you, now change. You're looking at another being just the way they are and saying, let me appreciate God's perfection. You lost the key? Great. You forgot to pick up the laundry? Right. If each of us is separate, and yet each of us is part of the whole, and I know we teach this, I have heard people say it, so we may be individual, but we are each part of the whole. So Ram Dass is going on, and yet each of us is part of the whole, but we got lost a little bit into dualism, and we're finding our way back out. Every time we're in the presence of unconditional love, we remember. And when we remember, we open. And when we open, light pours through us. So there's great peace and freedom in that. Michael Singer writes, the moment I forgot to bring my books, but Paul fortunately had the one, Untethered Soul, as I found it. It says, the moment in front of you is not what is bothering you. I will repeat this because they said I need to have this close, so I'll be sure you hear it. The moment in front of you is not what is bothering you. You're bothering yourself about the moment in front of you. Isn't that great? Oh, okay. So now, I actually brought a book that I want to share some things with you about holy moments. And I realized while I got the font on my talk really big, the book didn't do that. So I need my glasses. So it's called Holy Moments. Matthew Kelly is the name of the author. And he starts with a story of the monastery. I can't see you. He starts with a story of the monastery. You've probably heard it about. It's a thriving, wonderful monastery in the woods. Flowers are blooming. Everything's gorgeous. Everybody's wonderful. And then over the years, things start to get a little bit more closed and creaky, and some of the older monks get grumpy, or perhaps some of the newer monks get jealous or upset, and things happen, and it goes on, and nobody's coming anymore, and nobody's joining the monastery, and things are ungood. So the head abbot decides he will go to the hermit in the mountain to seek advice and to see what's going on. So it goes on. It's a long, arduous journey, and nobody thinks to go with him, and he does it by himself and all this. But he gets there and says, what wisdom do you have from us? How do we rejuvenate the monastery? How can we best serve the people who've come to visit? And the hermit says, well, that's 3 questions. You said you had 1. So he says, go back and tell the brothers the Messiah is among you. And you can see how, it can't be monk so-and-so. Look, he's so grumpy. Oh, but I did see him pick up that thing last night. Or I saw him this. Or what if could it be? So whatever the Messiah is to you, is it Jesus? Is it Moses? Is it some great rabbi? What if somebody right here in this room is really Jesus masquerading as some wonderful person? How would you behave? What would you do? And you can guess what happened to the monastery. Wonderful things and growth, and people started coming again because they were casting their attention to good. That's the power of choice that we have when we clear out those habitual mind patterns and are present in this moment. So what if, instead of all those other people that have to change, and surely you've looked around, and there are a few, we look within and see if we can live a life remembering that the Messiah is among us. Creating holy moments. Some moments feel holy, some don't. When I first read this, I kind of just argued. I thought, God is everywhere. Oneness is all the time. And I thought, yeah, but what about the stuff you regret? That might be a not-so-holy moment. And some moments are really holy and beautiful, are sacred, because we're opening to let that love flow through. And our choice can guide the direction of how that moment is going. I can remember my dear beloved husband, as the kids are growing up, saying, you need to learn the consequences of your actions. Now, he was doing this about that. But what if we also talk about the consequences of our actions for good? What if we think about those consequences as ripples of love, of understanding, of caring that come from the effects of having a holy moment? So, the book defines holy moment as a holy moment is a single moment in which you open yourself to God. You make yourself available to Him. You set aside personal preference and self-interest, and for one moment you do what you prayerfully believe God is calling you to do. Just tiny collaborations with God. Can you see how your life, our life itself, can ripple down from that holy moment? Many traditions tell us, ask for help, surrender, ask for divine guidance. Thy will be done. What would love do here? There's all kinds of precedent for the idea. But I was so taken with the book and writing it about deciding to choose holy moments. They create choices with very positive and powerful consequences. You're not just taking life a day at a time, taking it a moment at a time. Martha Creek taught a class on this book. Turns out I had it already. It was in a pile of stuff in my back. I had no idea where it came from, who sent this to me, what, I don't know. And I'm still not sure. But anyway, I was kind of thinking, look, I've got it already. And it was kind of funny. She said, make choices that are easy to live with. And I understood in terms of if you think about something you regret. Why did I just say that if I had just not said that or not done that or if I'd done that? Or make choices that are easy to live with. You feel good when you are kind, when you do something, when you don't say something, all of these things. Holy moment is a grace-filled, prayerful action. My first example, once I started thinking about it, was out with my husband who hadn't driven in several months. I'd been driving him everywhere, and he wanted to take his big excursion to get washed. So I went with him. And he's had surgery both in the front of his neck and his back, about this long, with metal things. So he can't turn his head like that. So if he's going to look, he's got to turn everything. So he went over a couple of corners, and whatever. While we're coming back, he's talking about, he really needs to sell this and get a new snazzy car. It's going to be his last car. We'll get something terrific. And he turns into our little community and goes over the curb again. And it is possible that the voice inside my head thought of something to say. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That was a holy moment. Truly, it sounds funny, but feel it. It was a holy moment. Keep your whatever mouth. So, and the book has several examples like that. There's one that I remember about a woman named Joan who works in a greeting card company, and for like 12 years she's gone by this maximum security prison. And their company does a service project every quarter or every twice a year or something. And she suddenly gets the idea, why don't we bring some cards to the prisoners and let them send Mother's Day cards home? So they go with 200 cards, say, and 8 or 9 people that go to do this to help. They bring stamps and they're going to help. And then people start, she's seen like 5 or 6 people, and suddenly the guys are saying, can I have 2? Can I have 2? And she's asking them, why, And they say, well, my mom was okay and did the best, but she had some issues, and my grandma raised me, and I want to send one to her too. And they ended up 400 inmates. All of them sent cards. They sent 657 Mother's Day cards. Feel the ripple. Tears. Feel the ripples of the holy moment. The idea that the woman had or that God had through her. And then what happened? So the possibilities are limitless because God is. All right, good. And they give some examples here, just in case those weren't enough. That's the first one. Control your temper even if you are fully justified in losing it. pray before making a decision. Be patient with that person who drives you crazy. Do something that helps you become a better version of yourself, even when you don't feel like it. Give whoever it is in front of you your full attention. That's a holy moment. Begin each day with a short prayer of gratitude. Catch someone doing something right and tell them. Overlook an offense against you. Where's the last? I was going to do there it is. Give someone a life-changing book, it says. So, Jane, if you would. Yes. I have a life-changing book for you. So they're saying there may not be enough books for everybody, in which case we will order more. I ordered like 125. 40 and 20 is 60. All right, well, anyway, we don't have enough. Those of you that already do holy moments, give it to somebody else. And they'll give you 6 free if you write to holymomentsbooks.com. They'll give you 6 of them free. So yeah. All right. Yes. All right. Well, anyway, I'll tell you what's in there. It's fine. So the whole point of it is to tell somebody. And like they say, tell 3 people. If you told 3 people this idea about having a holy moment, collaborating with God for that moment, and seeing what's flowing through and doing that, then those 3 people, some will do nothing, and the good soil and the bad soil and the wonderful, all right? And some will do something. And maybe somebody will do something so that 657 Mother's Day cards get sent from the prison. You have no way of knowing. There's another story in here about a man named Bruce Dern who lost his wallet. And a 12-year-old girl named Amanda found it and brought it back to him. And he took out, I don't know, this was a big thing to turn back this wallet. It says, the story goes that he took out $200 bills and gave her one, this is for you, and this is for somebody else. And that was his holy moment, and it goes on, and you don't need to know. The practitioners here often don't know. They pray, they're praying for you every day, and they don't know the results. Sometimes they do, and it's fine. Please tell them, because it's nice to know. So 4 months later, somebody emails Bruce saying, we saw a bunch of people on social media with a big sign that says, thank you, Bruce Dern. And it turns out that Amanda, this 13-year-old girl, was in a class where the teacher had said, find out something about a poorer country. And she'd chosen Honduras, and they'd had an earthquake. And she found a little village there and somehow got that money to them. So they bought a whole bunch of food and had a huge party for the whole village and had the sign, thank you, Brewster. So you cannot know. Infinite love, infinite possibility is mighty big. And so you can't know, but you can do it. You don't need the book to do it at all. Just decide. Sometimes we wonder a lot, can I make a difference in the world? No, it's overwhelming. But try collaborating with God in a holy moment. And let those holy moments transform your life. Our vision at CCL is that we're contributing to the transformation of the planet. What? Through the transformation of individuals. So you can transform yourself by deciding to collaborate with God in that holy moment and do what God might think is a great idea. So if you're close your eyes. They say I get to say a prayer at the end. I'm not quite ready for the prayer, but I'm going to read you a poem first. But I think if you want to, you don't have to, of course. You don't have to do anything. But you have choice. So this is a poem by Dorothy Hunt, who's another lovely person, about peace and about this moment. And the title is, Peace is This Moment Without Judgment. Do you think peace requires an end to war or tigers eating only vegetables? Does peace require an absence from your boss, your spouse, yourself? Do you think peace will come some other place than here? Some other time than now? In some other heart than yours? Peace is this moment without judgment. That's all. This moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. Peace is this moment without thinking that it should be some other way, that you should feel some other thing, that your life should unfold according to your plans. Peace is this moment without judgment, this moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome. And so, in and from that place, I invite you to just deepen into that heart space. This heart space. This one heart space. Find that love. Send it to yourself. If you want to think of yourself as this soul that is welcoming you earlier, sending it to you or your angels and guides, the shaman, whoever it is. Let that love flow to you. Every piece and part, that funny, quirky thing you do, that time when you get angry, anything, everything is welcome. Everything has been bottled up, wanting recognition and love. So it could be the truth of what it is. Send that love, feel it. Unconditional love without condition. And so we love ourselves. That which is the divine within us. The Messiah among us. Loving ourselves. Without condition. Feel it and let that grow. Limitless it is. Bathed in this waterfall of grace we are. And I'm very aware it includes all the Zoom people. This here is infinite. Bathed in this love. And now as we continue to participate in this holy moment, I ask you to send it out in all directions around you. To every place on this planet that needs it, to every level and dimension. We cast our attention. We choose. We send the love out. And we rejoice in the fullness of life and this holy moment. And so it is. Amen. God bless you.